Hi, hello everyone. I hope you're well. Sarah Stevens here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a luxury travel concierge and PR in the travel world, and I'm coming to you live for another series or another episode, should I say, of my Traveller's Tales. The Traveller's Tales are where I bring on some of my amazing friends who all seem to travel more than I do, even though I'm the travel agent. And they all have amazing experiences and stories to tell. And it's just so exciting. If I can help you with any future holiday, then please do drop me a line. Feel free to ask any questions as we go along with this, because we're both happy to answer any questions you've got. I'm just going to very quickly jump on the Facebook just to check that this has actually gone live, because Facebook, sometimes things don't quite work. So, oh yes, I can see myself. Right, brilliant. So if you're joining in, please give StreamYard permission to see your name, and then we know who's saying hello. Please say hi and let us know who's watching, because we always like to have a little bit of back and forth with people. And if you're watching a replay, #replay. So I'm really excited to introduce you all to the amazing Claire Dore. She is phenomenal. She's like a whirlwind. And she's just come back from over a month in Bali, which she went to via Dubai. She went to a silent retreat in Bali. She's all about the energy. She's absolutely amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Claire on to meet you all. Hi, Claire.
Hello. Been at the whirlwind. Whoosh.
You are. And
Thanks.
you sound so echoey at the moment.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You've gone.
Should I take?
Yeah, maybe take them out. We'll be able to hear you okay, won't we?
All right.
Through your phone. Try now.
Yeah, I'm on my AirPods case, otherwise it will stay connected.
Okay. Right, Claire will be back in a second. There's always a technical issue, isn't there, when you go live on Facebook? But Claire's coming.
Never know.
Claire's coming to us live from Covent Garden today. So, oh, we can't hear you. You're on mute, Claire. Switch yourself off mute, lovely.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, brilliant. Yay! You don't sound like Darth Vader.
I definitely don't need that. My voice is pretty deep anyway, so I just don't need any extra depth to it. Good.
Yeah, so tell everyone a little bit about you.
So I am an entrepreneur, have been an entrepreneur for 14 years. And my business right now, which I've been leading for 8 years now, I'm an embodiment coach. And what that means is I coach soul-aligned entrepreneurs to help them to think differently, really embody all of who they are, help them to really embrace their kind of inner knowing, their intuition, help them to really embody that trust, and to help them to really fuck logic. Am I allowed to swear on this? I will. I rules. And yeah, transforming shit to gold is essentially what I do. And it's, I do that via one-to-one coaching. I also lead high-end retreats, the next one being in Athens next month, which I am incredibly excited about. That's my next abroad trip. So yeah, it's my soul purpose. It's my soul mission. It's like just a huge part of me and lights me up no end.
Amazing. So where in all the amazing places you've been to, where would you say was your absolute favourite?
So I have a lot of favorites. I'd say my soul is like most alive in Bali, for sure.
Good. Because you've just come back from there, haven't you?
I've just come back. This is my second trip in under about 9 months. And like, I don't know if this group is like worldwide, but just to put that into context, in the UK, I think it took me like 28 hours to get home. Yeah. And that's 17 hours flying. That's my sister's dog making a noise in the background, by the way, in case you wonder what that was. But yeah, so it's a big trip. It's a big trip. And I went last summer and it was like balm for my soul. And I came back and I was just like, I'm not done. I need to go again and I need to go for longer. So yeah, so I literally got back under 2 weeks ago now, and it was just the most incredible, soul expanding, soul evolving trip, and I'm so want to go back like again. Yeah, there's a lot in Bali, like to discover and explore. Have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I took an 8-month-old baby with me when I went.
You did tell me. Oh my gosh, that's courageous. That is
Yeah.
really courageous.
Yeah, we went for a week on our way back from New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a belated honeymoon. So went to Bali for a week, and yeah, we took my 8-month-old Violet with us.
Oh,
And yeah, she absolutely loved the monkey forest at Ubud. Did you go to the monkey forest?
I had the most hilarious experience in the monkey forest because I didn't actually have a didn't consciously choose to go there because the monkeys are everywhere. Like I had them in my
Yeah.
bathroom, like, and I'm not crazy about the monkeys. They're actually a pest there, like they're dangerous. But what happened one day was I ordered a Gojek scooter. So I jumped on the back of this scooter because that's what you do. That's how you get around. And the guy took me through this tiny little path that basically was right by the monkey forest. And there were monkeys literally right by my legs. I was like, aha, this is really scary. But yeah, they're just all over the place there. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think my little girl thought it was hilarious because she was about the same size as them. So I think she was probably like, "What are these? Like weird babies
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
fur?"
like walking cuddly toys, right?
Yeah.
That's what they look like to her. Trying to adjust
Yeah.
my. Oh, don't know.
Yeah, so she loved watching them actually jump into the pool in the forest. They would like dive. There was like a branch over like a pond, I guess,
Mhm.
and the monkeys were just playing. They were running and like bombing into the pool and then getting out and then lining up again, and they were just constantly
That's
dive bombing
hilarious.
each other in the pool, just like kids would do.
Yeah.
It was just hilarious, and yeah, my little girl was killing herself laughing at them jumping into this pool.
What
Um,
entertainment. How
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah,
Just
it
brilliant.
was brilliant. And all the people are so friendly and lovely, aren't they, over there?
Oh, there's a real do you know what's really special about Bali? Like there's a really the energy there is like something I've never felt before. And I've been to a lot of places around the world, but it's almost like there's like this love that you feel,
Mhm.
and it comes from the people, it comes from the culture. I'd say it's been there, you know, like it's kind of deep in the history of the place, and you feel that love in every experience that you have there.
Mhm.
Like, you know, you go to a cafe and like they just want to go out of their way to just make it the best experience. And that is whether you go to a little local pop-up, you know,
Mhm.
warung, you know,
Yeah.
that is sprung up out of someone's kitchen, or, you know, a really gorgeous, you know, more high-end place. And just, yeah, just like the level of service, and yeah, it's just really felt like this love, and also this really deep trust. Like my first trip to Bali, to give you an example of that, and I'll own part of this because I think people feel that trust
Mm.
from me too. But I would be like showing up at places, and there was one time where I checked into a new hotel, and I needed to pay the horse taxi that I'd had. Right, it was like a horse and cart, and um, I didn't have the right change, and the guy didn't have any change. Right, so the hotel manager just popped out, and he was like, took it out of his own personal pocket, went, "I'll pay for it. Just pay me back whenever."
Oh.
Like, like
Mm.
no, like wasn't like that. There's just, and that happened in so many situations where I might hire a bike or hire something, and they're like, yeah, just like pay me whenever. You know, there was no, you know, like there was no deadline. It was like just totally, I trust you. Like I trust you. And that comes from trusting yourself, right?
Mhm.
That always, you know, you have to trust yourself, and then people can feel that. And yeah, so it just a really special place for me. Mm.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely to hear people talk about Bali, and most people I speak to just love the place and the energy there, which is amazing.
Mm.
If you're tuning into this, please say hello. Let us know who's watching. Have you been to Bali before? Please let us know. Pop it in the comments. And please like and love this so that more people see it, because we know Facebook and its likelihood of hiding things from people. Um, where would you say in the world
Mm.
has been the most unusual place that you've been to?
Most unusual. Well, actually, there was an experience in Dubai. So I went
Okay.
to Dubai
Yeah.
on the way to Bali. So my brother has moved there with his family. They moved last summer. So this was like my first trip to go out there. I'd been to Dubai before, but long time ago. So, you know, it really changed. Was really blown away by the city, and like how the setup of how easy it is to live there. But there was one night, right? We had my brother said, "Oh, I'm going to take us to Global Village." Right.
Right.
And this is like, and I was like, he was trying to describe it, but like, I couldn't really work out in my head like what it was. Was it a fairground, or was it like a market? Like, what was it like? Anyway, so you go in, like, and it's almost like something you would see in Vegas in a way,
Like a
because
casino.
no, not casinos. It's
Right.
outdoor. It's an outdoor thing, and but they have like a setup for every single country in the whole world, right? So you can buy every single type of food from the whole world. Like, so you go in, and like you go into like say Morocco, for example, and they're playing Moroccan music, and then you've got all the food like from Morocco. So it's all themed around the country, right? But it's all open air, and like really these crazy buildings and the architecture. So they're really mimicking it all, which is done really well. And then there's like a fairground, fireworks, and all this stuff. But what was interesting was how it felt. And I'm a real feeling person. I'm all about energy. I'm always about feeling. And this is a local event. Like tourists don't go there. It's not a
Right.
tourist.
Yeah.
We went on like a Friday night, and literally it was like the whole of Dubai locals. So everyone was in their white gowns. You know, there's lots of burqas. There's all of that is very, very present, and you're feeling like that culture, right? But there was some really interesting behaviors going on that felt really uncomfortable for me. Really
Oh
uncomfortable.
no.
It was strange. It was strange. It was the way they treated children, actually. It was the way they were treating the children, manhandling them. And it felt really, just. So you asked me unusual, but I think you asked me unusual,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
like
that was,
it
yeah.
was unusual, but it also brought up a level of discomfort for me. Like, and I think what also was really powerful from that experience, though, is really understanding, like, when you're in a completely new culture, what it feels like as the minority.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, really good to experience that, because, like, when you're in the UK, like, like the majority, obviously we are a very diverse nation, but, I think about when I grew up. I grew up in a town where everyone was white. I think there was like one black family in our whole town, and it makes me like that experience. And I've had other experiences in London where I felt like the minority, and it's like, I think it's really powerful to have that experience, because you can then have real compassion, can't
Yeah.
you, for those people who are in our culture, who maybe don't feel like they fit in. Not that we're supposed to
Yeah.
fit in, but it's like, I don't know, it was really edgy for me,
Yeah.
is what I say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's fascinating.
Yeah. Afternoon. I'm not sure who this is that's commented. Please, we can't see your name, just that you're a Facebook user. So please pop your name in the comment, and then we know who we're speaking to. But I hope you're well. And have you been to Bali before? Please drop your name in the comments and let us know. We'd be very interested to know that. Or if you've had a similar experience in Dubai and been to, what was the place called again, Claire?
Called Global Village.
Global Village. Oh,
Mm.
it's Beverly. Hi, Beverly. Future. I don't know if I've said your name right. Sorry, Bev. I hope I haven't. But you've not been to Bali before. Oh, wow. Well, like, maybe that's one on your list then. Thanks for joining us. So what activity have you done, Claire, when you've been traveling that you've thought, I'm not really enthused about this, but I'm going to go along with it because whoever I'm traveling with wants to do it. But then you've actually found out that you've loved it
Mm.
and you've been really surprised. Have you had
Mm.
a situation like that?
Yeah, I probably have had lots of situations like that, actually. Um, Water skiing comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah. I When I was a teenager, I did 2 summers working in Greece. And the first summer I went with my best friend, and she worked at a water sports company in Greece. Like, we landed jobs when we got there, and that was her job, which was bloody brilliant because she got the best tan, whereas I was working in a cafe, so I was like just like not in the sun ever. But yeah, so she was just like sat outside, just sunning herself and selling water sports. But we ended up doing water skiing, and oh my gosh, like that was incredible. Like, wasn't something that, I was thinking, oh yeah, I really want to do this, but like she sorted it all out, and she's like, let's do it. And it felt like a stretch, but I was like, oh no, like I'm kind of up for it, I'll go with it. Amazing.
Oh, good. I always
Super
like
fun.
asking people this because I get totally different answers, which is quite
Yeah.
interesting. So what place have you visited that has
Mm.
really surprised you? That's not really been what you expected it to be, or has kind of totally blown you away when you've got there, that you've kind of thought, oh, it might be okay, and then you've gone and it's
Um, do you know what? Amsterdam,
hmm
love, 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 love. Yeah, and never really, I think there's so many, when you think of a country or when you think of a city, you almost have like, you know, thoughts about that, yeah, from what
yeah.
you've picked up from others, from school, conditioning, all of that. Like we create this kind of like picture or image or perception of somewhere.
hmm
And I have to say, Amsterdam, again, I really love the energy there. I think because it's so open, I'm a very
hmm
open person. So I think I really feel that. And yeah, that kind of surprised me. I've been a couple of times now, and definitely like that's somewhere I like to spend time. Um, yeah, that surprised me. And I think New York actually as well, in a way. The first time I went there, I that was when my ex-husband proposed. Of course, that was a great trip, right? Very
hmm
memorable. He proposed
Yeah.
to me, but I never really loved the vibe. Never really loved it. Never really loved it at all. And then went back last year in June, and literally like fell in love with the place. Like saw it in a completely different with a completely different set of eyes. And I think that for me is most interesting when you've been somewhere before, maybe not, not gone crazy about it and thinking,
Mm.
oh, I don't know if I need to go back there ever. But then you end up going back and you see it so differently. Because of course we're constantly evolving and growing. And so energetically, we're showing up very different every time we go somewhere. And that's been really insightful for me, to almost like not be in love with somewhere and then go back and have a completely different experience, which is beautiful.
Yeah. No, and I guess as well, it depends who you're traveling with, because that would skew how you feel about a certain place. Sorry.
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah,
mean that to come out the way it did. But I'm
absolutely.
just thinking from a perspective of, if you're traveling somewhere with your children, you'll have a
Mm,
different experience than if you're traveling solo or with your friends, or whoever you're with. That will
true.
affect the way you experience things, won't it, as well, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's about being intentional because interestingly, on that June trip, I was with a friend, but we fell out.
Oh no.
Yeah, she wasn't very happy with me about something, and yeah, it was a really big growth opportunity for me to navigate through, and for her, which she finally saw. But yeah, so we actually had to not spend time together. But it was incredible because, and I think from what I like teach and coach my clients on, it's all about being intentional. So,
hmm
I think when you become very intentional daily with your energy and what you want to put your energy behind, that has a massive impact, obviously, on your experience.
hmm Yeah.
So I had the best time on my own.
so,
I'm
so
still friends with her, by the way. Like, I love her to bits. But yeah, this was like a really interesting trip.
I bet. I bet. Yeah, I was actually surprised by Amsterdam when I went, because I first went weirdly enough with my mum. And yeah, and I was like, oh, how's this gonna go? Do you know what I mean? Um, and actually, I can't speak now, culturally, in terms of like the art galleries and the vibe, and I've eaten some of the best food in Amsterdam, like the most amazing Michelin starred restaurants, and we just went to so many amazing restaurants that did like fusion cooking before it became a thing. It was just amazing, some of the best food and drink I've ever had, and it totally shattered my previous concept, images that I had from the media, of red
Amazing.
light district and
Yes,
and sex shows,
yes,
and it's
seedy.
not all of that. Yeah,
No, yeah, people can think Amsterdam, oh, seedy. No,
yeah,
I mean, there's so much going on, and I think because of the openness of the country and the city,
hmm
that energy-wise, it feels really good. But yeah, I've had incredible food there too. I agree.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. And so let me see what else is on my list to ask you.
Mm.
um, so when you've been traveling, obviously we've heard about the fallout in New York, but has anything else ever gone wrong when you've travelled?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. How long have we got for this one? Yeah. And like where I'm at in my life right now, like I see all of that as like challenges as growth. I actually have a post written, I've just realized, you've just reminded me, in my phone about all the challenges that showed up in Bali when I was there for a month as a solo female traveler.
hmm
There were a lot. There were a lot. And even when I was there last year for a couple of weeks, had some really huge challenges. And they were incredibly empowering moments. And again, the same. So, an example of one of those this time, I had my purse stolen. Yeah. I was at a full moon party. So I'd
Yeah, I
gone.
saw the pictures from that.
Yeah, it was really fun. So I'd arrived on Gili Trawangan. So the Gili Islands are three very small islands just off Bali. And I'd been there before. Didn't think I'd be going back at all, but my intuition was like, that's where you're going next. So I was like, okay. And the day I landed was the full moon party. So I was like, wow, looks like I'm going there then, right? So how that looks is like all the tourists are there, all the locals, everyone's dancing on the beach. It's fun, really fun, and great setup. So anyway, so I'd gone down there myself on my own and ended up meeting a whole group of guys. And we were sat around this like campfire sort of setup towards the end of the night. I don't know, it was like 3 a.m. maybe. And I was sat on a chair and my bag was just like there, like here. And suddenly, like I turned around, I obviously felt something, or I could sense there was someone there,
Yeah.
right? I turned around and this guy had my purse in his hand. So he'd unzipped my bag, and it was literally right by my bum, like it was so close. Unzipped it, taken my purse out, and was about to, well, soon run off with it, right? So it was really empowering because I got to get it back. Like straight away, I was like, okay, that's like my purse. Thank you. And took it from him. Um, so that was, yeah, could have been a potentially, scary, uncomfortable
Yeah.
situation or really fucking, like tragic because I had
So
everything. I had all my money.
was he one of the guys in the group
Nope,
or not? No.
he was
Okay.
a local. He was a
Mm,
local, and I was chatting. Well, a Dutch guy was chatting me up, let's say. So he obviously just could see that I was busy, engrossed in a conversation.
mm,
Um, So I got it back. What was really interesting after that, which was totally unnecessary, and
Did he run off, the guy?
yeah, he
Or did
disappeared
he
very
did you have
quickly.
to chase him?
Nope, nope.
Would be
But the
tackling.
Dutch guy lost the plot. This Dutch guy lost the plot. So he was trying to hit on me. That was it. He lost it then. Because I was like, why do you need to? I've got my purse back. Like, why are you behaving like that? He was like, that's really out of order. And I said, yes, it is, but I've got it back. Like, it's okay. Like, you can let it go now. Like, I've saved myself, thank you. But like here, he was ready to just like run after the guy and fight him. You know, it's like, okay, interesting. But yeah. So yeah, I had a lot of those situations. And there was one night actually where my accommodation, I had to move after
Oh
24
gosh.
years. That again was uncomfortable because I had to have an uncomfortable conversation with, you know, some people who were running it who didn't speak great English. I booked it through booking.com. So there was this whole drama around trying to get the money
Oh
back.
God.
Anyway, it all got sorted. But yeah, so just, you know, there's always a lot of things. And I think when you're solo traveling, like it's all growth. It's all powerful moments to really empower yourself and navigate. So
Mhm.
yeah, I've had to get quite resourceful at times.
Yeah, because I do quite a lot. I've got quite a few clients who are solo travelers who do
Mm,
quite a lot of solo book quite a lot of solo trips through me. And one of the reasons they say that they like that is because they don't feel like they're truly on their own. They feel
yeah,
like they've got me in the back pocket because I know where they're going to be at what time
yeah.
and I have all the details for them. So they know that all they need to remember is my phone number. So if the purse gets stolen or the passport goes missing or anything like that, as long as they've got my phone number, they know that they'll be okay because I can sort it all out for them, you know?
I love that. I love that you provide that service.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
So
Yeah.
I quite often, for my solo travelers, keep safe copies of all of
Mm,
their documents, so their passports and
mm,
everything. So God forbid, should something happen, they can phone me and say, Sarah, can you help? Can you fax copy my passport to wherever, or yeah, or email a copy over or whatever, so they know that at least someone knows and has their information for them. You know.
yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, um, yeah, there's something in that, in something I sense is like because I didn't plan my trip, right? I just
Hmm.
literally went. I booked like the
Yeah.
first few days, and then I was like feeling into my intuition, just like, you know, give me clarity on where I need to go next. So I would then work out the next piece and like book as I
Hmm.
go. But what I realized, and after you sharing that as well, it reminds me of like no one actually really knew where I was.
Mm.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
and children, got 3 children, but no one really ever really knew where I was because I never told anyone, you
Yeah.
know, and I do some quite courageous things when I'm away. You know, I do put myself in risky situations. I'm not scared to do that. I trust myself enough. But yeah, there were a couple of situations I put myself in some really, yeah, potentially pretty dangerous situations.
Mm.
And I recognized like, yeah, no one knew. Like no one would know, you
Well,
know.
apart from social media, if you're posting pictures of where you are,
True.
yes,
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's
yeah,
true. I do often tag the hotel. But
yeah.
yeah.
But
Mm,
yeah. So it's because I've spoken to a few people who have wanted to travel solo as well, but I've
mm,
been scared to do that.
right.
And then they've done it through me, and they've
Mm.
said that that's given them the confidence to do it because they don't
Oh,
feel like they're going on their own. They feel like they're traveling with a friend. just a virtual
That's
one, you know?
amazing. Yeah, that's
So,
amazing.
yeah, so that could be
Mm.
quite beneficial. So tell us all about the silent retreat that you did, because you did a silent
Yeah.
retreat, didn't you, for like a week in Bali?
This might create some swearing.
Oh, well,
I'm
hopefully.
telling everyone now. Um, well, what an eye opener. I mean, it was really, really incredibly, deeply profound. And I think, I went into it with very clear intentions to really uncover what is it that I don't know that I need to know. That was my question. Like, tell me what I need to know that I don't know. And so I was very clear about my intentions as I stepped in. So I booked 5 nights. And the setup there is like, oh my God, it's like immersed in old Bali, what I call old Bali. Like it was so authentic. No one spoke English there. It was proper back to basics, like this location. And the retreat center itself was like surrounded by rice terraces, the jungle on one side, and just beautiful. The nature there, the wildlife I saw was out of this world. And so I arrived. Oh dear, I had quite an interesting journey getting there, let's say. So I had my driver booked and I said, I want to go to a waterfall on the way and then go over to the retreat. Didn't want to arrive too early, right? Because I had to go into silence.
Yeah, go and scream somewhere.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, how can I stretch this out? The latest I can check in is 4. I think I checked in at about 12:30, actually, 1 o'clock, something like that. It wasn't late, but anyway. So we get so far, and we're in this like tiny little village, like old Bali. And my driver goes, "I can't take you any further." I was, what do you mean? You went, there's not actually no, the road won't take a car. Like it's like so tiny and just not, not a proper road. I was like, oh, I've got a massive backpack, another backpack, and then I'd managed to accumulate a couple of other bags. So I'm like, I can't walk that. It's about 2K. I was like, I can't walk that with all my luggage. He was like, well, you better phone the retreat center, see if they can like help you. So I messaged them and I was like, this is where I am. Can anyone like come and get me? Because she was like, okay, I'll send someone on a scooter. I was like, oh my God. So the scooter arrives now with a very, very fit Balinese guy. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is quite exciting. And he's talking to my driver. He doesn't really speak English, this guy. He's talking to my driver, and my driver said, okay, so there's 2 things. I can drive you around, it will take another 20 minutes, or you can go on the scooter. And I was like, well, I just need my luggage to come. Like, and he was like, yeah, don't worry, you take the luggage on the scooter. So picture this. So I was like, yeah, go on the scooter then, because I like to do fun things. And this was like thrill-seeking kind of thing. And he was fit. So I was like, yeah, I'd quite like to hold on to him. Yeah, that'd be quite nice. And so he had the big backpack between his legs on the scooter. I'm on the back, backpack on my back, another bag on my shoulder. He had a bag on his shoulder, right? So pretty loaded up. So he's like, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. So my driver's like taking photos of me, which he hasn't got anymore because it was the funniest photo. Loaded this scooter. So off we go. And the road, which wasn't a road really at all, was like that. Literally like that. Oh my God. Talk about arrive at a silent retreat, like really, really needing a retreat by then. Like I was holding on for dear
He's
life.
screaming.
I was! Well, there were moments. And then we get to a bamboo bridge. And I'm looking at that going, no, you've got to be kidding me. You're not going over that in a scooter. Underneath is the river. Of course we did. I'm like, oh my God. Like, okay, so then I arrive. So I'm pretty giggly by that point. I'm pretty giggly by the time I arrive. And I meet the owner of the retreat center. And the first thing she said to me was, did you not read the instructions we sent you about how to access the retreat center? No, didn't read those. She went, that's why we sent them 24 hours earlier, so you could read them. And my husband had to come and rescue you. I was like, oh, that was your husband. Laugh in my head off. She was not impressed. So that's how it started. Then takes me
So,
through.
so what were the instructions? Did you then read them
No,
about how you were supposed to get there? Were you supposed to
it was
hike through the
that
rainforest?
message that just went on and on and on. I was like, I'm not reading that. I'm on holiday. Like, I know what time I'm supposed to check in. That's all I need to know, surely. I've got the sat nav, postcode, learn. But anyway, I was just like, no, sorry, I didn't read it. Oh, okay. That's fine. Anyway, so then she's like, let's go. I'll show you around the retreat center. So she's like, we have to be quiet here because obviously there's people in silence. So she's whispering to me. So we get to a path, right? And there's a couple of guys right by the path. They look like workers. And she's sort of speaking to me, but I'm sort of like, I don't know, it was a really surreal moment. I can't really describe it. Next thing I know, my flip-flop is in wet concrete because they're concrete in the path. I told you about that. So that was my second telling off, like,
Did
oh,
she tell you about that?
oh yeah, she was talking to me about something, but I couldn't understand what the hell she was on about. I was just not really with it. I was just like not really with it, having had this experience. And so that's how it kind of started. And then there was another Bridget Jones moment where to do with turmeric water that spilt everywhere. I kicked it over. And I just honestly, it was like that. I did actually swear because so there were a couple of times
Even
where
though you were supposed to be silent at that
yeah,
point.
I was supposed to be silent and I said shit twice while I was there because I just had accidents. So that's how that was day one, right? Um, so this woman was just like, who is this woman? And I also noticed, there was so much growth for me because I walk in and I'm like, in my bikini and a little skirt, and I look around, everyone's in floaty yoga wear. And I'm like, I've really arrived. But I'm like, I'm not supposed to fit in. This is me, you know. But yeah, day 1 and 2, easy to be silent. Day 3, wanted to actually kill myself if I had to listen to my voice in my head any longer. And that's when I wanted to quit. I was like, how do I quit now? Like, okay. Now, all I wrote in my journal that day was, Claire, you chose to do this. You chose to do this. I spoke to my soul and said, what do I do? Do I go or stay? And it was very clear, you fucking stay. And then 2:22 in the morning the next day, all of the wisdom just dropped through. Like, I mean, I have goosebumps when I say that to you. Like massive, profound, accessing deep levels of consciousness. And so day 4 and 5 was like bliss state. I was just floating around. It was beautiful.
Lovely. So you didn't knock any more water over. Just 4 or 5.
No, I didn't. Oh, just day 1, that was. Just day 1. And when I left, she'd passed a message to one of her workers to pass on to my driver. He was having a chat with the guy for ages. And I was like, what were you chatting about? And he said, oh, yeah, the owner had passed on a message about you. And I was like, what was that? She said, look after that woman.
She can't read signs.
Yeah, make sure you look after
She
her.
doesn't read instructions. She doesn't listen. You need to be
She's a
careful.
liability to this island. Help! Get her back on a plane now. So it was a really incredible experience in so many ways, and yeah, learned a ton about myself. Mm.
Yeah, no, it sounds amazing. But I would have just been laughing at everyone because I'm one of these people.
A lot.
You go into to places where people are serious and quiet, and I just laugh. I can't
Yes.
help myself. So I'd be a nightmare, absolute nightmare, because I'd just burst out laughing and have fits of giggles and not be able to stop. That'd be my issue. It's
It
silent retreat,
was
but are you
serious.
allowed to laugh? Would be my
Well,
question.
you're allowed to cry, right? Because there's tears in these kinds of experiences. So it's funny because yeah, that came up like before I got there. I was like, you know, what noises am I allowed to make? Because
What did she say? How did she answer that question?
I didn't ask her that. God no, I think she would have told me to leave and give me a refund straight away. Um, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was funny. It really was funny. Yeah.
Oh, it would have made a great film. Oh,
I agree. I feel I have a net that's funny you mentioned that. I felt I have a Netflix program or series from that experience. There
yeah.
was so much. There's a ton more I could tell you, but I'm conscious of time. But
Mm. Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
it was packed. It was packed.
Yeah. If you're tuning in now, please say hello. I don't know if that's still you, Bev, or if someone else has tuned in. So please do say hello in the comments and let us know. Have you had a similar experience? Have you ever been to a silent retreat and sworn when you weren't supposed to speak? Please do let us know. Hi, it's Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Which Lisa? Let us know. I think I've got about 4 friends called Lisa. So,
No.
yeah, this is hilarious, she said.
Oh, there's so
Ooh,
much
oh,
more.
burn. Hi, Lisa. Yeah.
So much
Um,
more.
yeah, I wouldn't be able to stop laughing at all. I'm sure Lisa would be the same, actually.
It was uncomfortable, and when she showed me to my room, right, I hadn't realised I'd booked a dorm style room.
Oh, no.
Oh. So I had walls, but they didn't go right to the ceiling, and there was no wall on the back, which you were exposed to the jungle, and there's snakes. Thank you for letting me know about that one. I'm never going to sleep now, am I? And also, oh, I have to listen to everyone's farting, pooing, and snoring. Thank you for that one as well. And thank you for the earplugs that you've provided because I'm going to need those.
Did they just have a
Um,
bucket for the toilet, or did they have a proper toilet?
no, we did have toilets. We had our own
Oh,
toilets, but if you can imagine, the wall doesn't go up to the ceiling. There's like about a 4 meter gap, so you hear everything. And of course they hear me too, right? So I was actually constipated for 2 days because I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe it. I can't believe I booked this style room. Like again, like I'm not a detail person. I'm big picture. I'm big
yeah,
picture.
you see, this is why
Massive
you need someone like
vision.
me.
Yes,
So look at the
tell
detail.
me. By the way, you know what the choices of rooms are. Oh my gosh, I had
So
absolute envy of the little bungalows.
did you have insects and things as
Oh yeah.
well?
When I saw the size of the ants, that's what made me really feel quite scared about what size the snakes might be. Mm.
So
They
did
were
you see
massive.
any snakes?
No, thankfully, I didn't. Lizards, big lizards about this big. And oh my God, the most stunning butterflies. Like I've never seen so many different colored butterflies as I did there. And you see loads around Bali,
Yeah.
but they'd, you know, the gorgeous scooter driver, her husband, he was the gardener. And I tell
Right.
you, the gardens were stunning. And so they attracted all these butterflies. They're all about environment there. I
Yeah.
mean, the food was out of this world. It was, yeah, it was a really incredible experience, but I'm
Yeah.
never doing it again.
Once is enough.
Once is
Um,
enough.
Please say hello if you're tuning in now. Then let us know who's watching. Lisa says that you're so glam, Claire, which I
I
already know. You're so glamorous. You are. You're the
I
most stylish person at the retreat.
I know, right? I was there in my honey birdette bikini and like little mini skirt, and yeah, all these people in this, just nothing wrong with people wearing flowing fabric, by the way, but like everyone was wearing that, and I was like, is there some kind of uniform I didn't get told about, or what?
You didn't read the instructions.
Clearly not. Yeah, clearly didn't read the instructions. Yeah, I definitely
Oh,
made an entrance.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's good. That's good. Um, it's good to make an entrance.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone tuning in now that you were wondering what me and Claire are laughing about, don't worry, it will be available on replay. It's been recorded. If you're watching it back, please hashtag replay. Feel free to ask us any questions. We'll check back and answer them for you. That's great. And comment if you've been to a silent retreat or you've been to Bali before. What did you think? Please do let us know. So Claire, have you got any tips, top tips for anyone who is thinking of doing a similar trip? Obviously read the instructions. Sorry, couldn't help that one.
You tell if you can be bothered.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But so yeah,
Um,
if you got any,
top tips for traveling.
yeah, from your
Yeah.
perspective, maybe if you're traveling solo or whatever, what would your advice be?
Always travel with an eye mask. Eye mask always, because you never know what the situation is wherever you're sleeping. But do you know what? One of the really incredible top tip I have to share. And I got this wisdom from Bali. Actually, I met a herbalist and had an hour with her, and my God, like what she's shared with me in an hour is like insane, incredible, absolute gold. And I've worked with loads of nutritionists, and I was in a health and wellness business before this current business. So I've always had a big interest and knowledge around nutrition. But anyway, this was another level. One of the things she shared with me was pistachios have the highest source of melatonin out of any other food type. And melatonin instigates sleep, right? So if you're going on a flight and it's a long flight, take a packet of pistachios. I took a packet on board when I was flying back from Bali. So this is like, 17 hours. It's 17 hours. 17 hours of flying. I slept for 8. Like, I was like, would just be like sat in my chair, and then like suddenly I was asleep, like just passed out. It was incredible. So that's like my hottest ever tip for anyone who flies a lot and might be flying long haul. The other thing is like, trust your intuition. Don't over plan your trip, and trust your intuition. Because so I always was a planner. I would organize every single detail of a holiday. And what that did was it almost didn't allow for all those opportunities to drop in, and for that space to be able to, like meet people. I mean, the connections I made in Bali were no coincidence, and some real soul connections, lifelong friends I've made. I have made some lifelong friends. I'd say about 5, because I did things by following my intuition. Didn't make sense to me. It was just like, oh, I need to be here. Oh, I need to go in this shop now, or whatever. And yeah, just things like just showed up. I manifested, and yeah, no coincidence, none of it. Yeah. So I'd say, yeah, trust. Have someone like you in the back pocket to be able to, like, kind of like recommend somewhere that they can then book, 24 hours later, but trust where they need to be. And it just allows a different level of kind of freedom in yourself, and as well as really embodying this trust. It's not something we're taught at school. We're taught to like plan and always know the answer. How about not knowing the answer? Get comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Oh, thanks.
So it's so lovely to chat to you. I could literally talk to you about travel all afternoon. Just laugh. We're gonna have to meet up in person at some point. Maybe we'll do an event and sell tickets, because quite a few people have commented that it's hilarious. So maybe we'll have to do a travel event together.
Oh my
We'll
gosh,
invite
yeah.
people. Let's do it.
Come on.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's have a chat.
I can,
Okay,
I,
so
I can do
yeah, right.
it.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. If you're watching on replay, remember #replay. Ask us any questions, and we'll check back and answer them. And if you've got any travel needs, any travel advice, need any help at all, then I'm Sarah Stevens Escapes on Facebook and Instagram. So feel free to drop me a message and reach out to me if I can help you with your next trip. And thank you, Claire. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.
Thank you. Love